Healing is one of the hardest things for people to do, if not arguably the hardest, because facing those past traumas and those fears, it's difficult and it does take tons of courage, right? Because there's a lot of people who have started the process and it was like, okay, this is too much, and they backed out. And you have a lot of people, I have to say, who they're going to get help, right? And I applaud them for getting help, but they're learning how to manage and cope. They're not actually resolving, which is why now when they get into another situation, they find themselves being triggered. They find those fears coming up. And then those fears, as you mentioned, block them from being able to accept love, which then causes people, for example, I talk about the issue where a lot of people who experience genuine connection with someone, it doesn't work the first time around because one or both are terrified. You know, they've never felt anything like this before. They start to question everything. This is too good to be true. What's going on here? It makes them feel too vulnerable. They will feel like they're losing themselves. And I always say, you're not actually losing yourself. Your authentic self is trying to come out. And you don't like that because you've been hiding behind this wall this whole time. And you're like, how does this person have the power to pull this out of me to begin with when I'm so used to guarding myself so well? And that again is just very, very scary. So now it derails tons of potential, beautiful, amazing relationships. And then people go attach themselves to individuals where it feels more emotionally safe, where essentially this person is not someone I'm so madly in love with that I fear getting hurt, like the person who I truly love can hurt me. Because the one we love the most can hurt us the worst, plain and simple, you know? And there is, I guess, a risk in that, but we have to be willing to take that risk. And I think once we start to look at hurt differently, we can find more courage to overcome these issues. And let me say, one, we still have to face them, resolve, and release. I think a lot of people, they may have talked about their issues, they may have dived deep into their childhood, but they haven't released the trauma and the negative energy. They haven't done what I call an emotional detox, so to speak, right? And they haven't changed the way they look at things enough in order to now no longer be afraid of the potential harm moving forward. Because I'm a firm believer that once we truly heal from something, nothing hurts us the same like it used to. Because now we have a better understanding of being hurt. Because a lot of times getting hurt from an individual is either A, due to their own issues and not really about us. It could be two, I don't want to say unrealistic, but unfair expectations that we put on people sometimes. And this is one of the reasons why I'm a firm believer in, I don't put expectations on anyone. I expect nothing from no one. I have standards, and you either can meet the standards or you don't. But to expect is to say that you are going to do something. No, you may choose to go in a completely different direction. And I understand that as human beings, even if you make that choice, it's not a reflection of me or some malicious intent towards me. It's just, this is life. I don't know what issue you're facing in that moment. I don't know what emotions are overcoming you in that moment. I don't know what's leading to this decision you're making. But at the end of the day, I know what my standard is, and I can either entertain this or not. But going back to the courage of allowing ourselves to fall in love, again, I definitely think it's going to start with that healing. And understanding that, listen, if you're with someone long enough, they're probably going to hurt you. Hurt is inevitable, all right? Now, of course, there's different levels of hurt. You know, one level might be they forgot your anniversary. Another level is cheating. Another level is, you know, they said something bad about you behind your back. There's different levels, but at the end of the day, there's going to be bad decisions made at some point. But again, it's not a reflection of, like, I think the problem is we internalize these things too much, and we don't give people grace for being human beings who are going to make mistakes, who are going to fall short. One of the big reasons why people are still holding on to trauma from their childhood is because their perception of their parents is, you were the one who was supposed to love me. You were the one who was not supposed to let me down. I was supposed to be able to trust being, you know, you as my parent. And the reality is your parents are humans. Humans with their own issues, their own battles. And a lot of what they did, again, it wasn't even about you. It was about the demons they were fighting within themselves. And we can always look in the past of the person who hurt you and find more hurt. That's why it's the hurt people, you know, saying. And I think when we start to really understand and grasp that, and we start to take things less personal and not internalize them, we now lessen the chance of being hurt. And I also want to say when we're afraid to embrace love because of potential heartbreak, here's the thing. Almost everyone on the face of this earth, if you're old enough, has had their heart broken to some extent, all right? You're still here. You survived. You will survive the next one. But if you don't allow yourself to experience it, you'll never have the joy of being in it. So it's the whole better to have love and loss than to never have love at all. And I think when people start to really understand that, they can start to build up more courage to embrace that real love that comes into their life.